June 19, 1944, 0630 hours, 150 miles west of Guam, Vice Admiral Jisaburo Ozawa stood on the bridge of Carrier Taiho, watching 430 aircraft launch from his mobile fleet in what Japanese naval aviation considered its decisive counterstrike against American forces threatening the Marianas. The veteran commander, who had rebuilt Japanese carrier aviation from scratch, believed his pilots would demonstrate that spiritual training and tactical innovation could overcome American material advantages. "Today we reclaim mastery of Pacific skies," Ozawa declared to his staff, as wave after wave of Zeros, Judys, and Jills climbed toward their targets. "American pilots depend on superior numbers and mechanical devices, but our airmen possess fighting spirit that no radar or radio can replicate. The mobile fleet will prove that Bushido defeats technology through pure determination." What Vice Admiral Ozawa couldn't know, what none of the 430 Japanese pilots climbing toward the American fleet could have imagined, was that waiting for them were 450 F6F Hellcat fighters whose technological superiority, radar coordination, and systematic pilot training would transform this decisive battle into the greatest aerial massacre in naval history, a slaughter so complete it would earn the name Great Marianas Turkey Shoot. The mathematical reality was already being calculated in American combat information centers that tracked every incoming raid with precision impossible for Japanese forces to counter. Task Force 58's integrated defense system included 15 aircraft carriers, radar-guided fighter direction, and pilots trained specifically to exploit every weakness in Japanese aircraft and tactics. What Ozawa couldn't comprehend was that American industrial capacity had produced over 12,275 F6F Hellcats, while Japan struggled to rebuild carrier air groups decimated during 18 months of systematic attrition. The numerical disparity would prove devastating when combined with technological superiority that made individual pilot skill irrelevant. Before we continue with this incredible story of how American naval aviation achieved the most lopsided victory in aerial combat history, I want to invite you to join our community of military aviation enthusiasts. Please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Your support helps us bring these amazing stories of technological triumph and tactical innovation to light. If you're fascinated by how the F6F Hellcat became the ultimate Zero killer, give this video a thumbs up and share it with anyone who appreciates the engineering marvels that dominated Pacific skies. Now let's dive into this extraordinary tale of the day Japanese naval aviation died. Japanese confidence in mobile fleet operations wasn't misplaced optimism, it was strategic necessity based on 8 months of systematic rebuilding that had restored carrier aviation to operational strength through intensive training, improved aircraft design, and tactical innovations developed from costly Pacific battles that had taught valuable lessons about American fighting methods. The technical specifications supported Japanese confidence through analysis of improved aircraft performance. The A6M50 incorporated lessons learned from previous encounters, achieving enhanced diving speed and improved armor protection while maintaining the maneuverability advantages that had dominated Pacific skies during early war operations. Admiral Soemu Toyoda, commanding the combined fleet, had calculated strategic advantages that favored Japanese operations. Mobile fleet aircraft operate from multiple carrier decks, while American forces remain tied to single carrier formations. Our tactical flexibility enables concentrated attacks that overwhelming numbers cannot counter through coordinated strikes against enemy weak points. The pilot training that supported Japanese carrier operations emphasized individual excellence and tactical innovation that previous battles had proven essential for success against numerically superior enemies. 9 months of intensive instruction had produced airmen capable of maximum aircraft performance while maintaining formation discipline under combat pressure. The aircraft production supporting mobile fleet operations included improved manufacturing that had restored carrier aviation to peak strength. Japanese industry had delivered 2,500 new aircraft, while training programs had produced 1,755 carrier-qualified pilots, numbers that represented complete recovery from previous operational losses. Vice Admiral Kakuji Kakuta, commanding carrier aviation operations, exemplified Japanese confidence in restored capabilities. Our pilots possess superior individual training, while aircraft improvements have eliminated previous performance disadvantages. American forces cannot match our tactical coordination or individual flying excellence despite their material advantages. The tactical innovations developed for mobile fleet operations included coordinated attacks designed to overwhelm American defensive systems through simultaneous approaches from multiple vectors. Japanese planners believed concentrated strikes could penetrate American defenses while achieving decisive results against enemy carrier formations. The intelligence supporting Japanese operations suggested American pilot quality had declined through rapid expansion that emphasized quantity over individual excellence. Japanese analysis indicated enemy training programs couldn't match intensive instruction that produced superior airmanship and tactical awareness essential for carrier operations. The fuel allocation supporting mobile fleet operations provided unlimited aviation gasoline for extended combat operations, while American forces would be constrained by logistics limitations that Pacific distances imposed on sustained carrier operations requiring complex supply arrangements. As the first Japanese attack waves approached American Task Force 58, Vice Admiral Ozawa embodied confidence that tactical superiority and pilot excellence would overcome American material advantages through coordinated attacks that individual courage and superior training would make unstoppable. The stage was set for systematic demonstration that technological superiority and industrial capacity could achieve results that individual excellence and tactical innovation couldn't counter when applied through coordinated defense systems. Japanese confidence in mobile fleet aviation wasn't desperate optimism. It was mathematical reconstruction based on 8 months of systematic rebuilding that had restored Japanese carrier aviation to operational effectiveness through intensive training programs, improved aircraft design, and tactical innovations that promised to reclaim Pacific air superiority from American forces grown overconfident through material advantages. The statistical reality supported Japanese calculations with impressive evidence of recovery. Since October 1943, Japanese training programs had produced 1,355 carrier-qualified pilots, while aircraft production had delivered 2,500 new fighters, dive bombers, and torpedo planes, numbers representing complete restoration of carrier aviation capabilities that previous battles had temporarily degraded. The secret lay in systematic analysis of previous defeats that had identified specific weaknesses in Japanese aircraft and tactics, enabling targeted improvements that addressed American advantages while preserving traditional strengths in maneuverability and pilot training that early Pacific victories had demonstrated as decisive factors. Admiral Soemu Toyoda, analyzing carrier aviation recovery, had validated mobile fleet capabilities through strategic assessment. Improved aircraft performance combined with enhanced pilot training has restored our carrier aviation to peak effectiveness. American forces cannot match our individual pilot excellence or tactical coordination despite their numerical and material advantages. The technical improvements incorporated into Japanese aircraft included enhanced armor protection, improved diving characteristics, and upgraded weaponry that addressed specific deficiencies identified during previous encounters with American fighters. The A6M50 incorporated lessons learned while maintaining performance advantages that had dominated early war operations. More significantly, Japanese pilot training had been revolutionized through systematic analysis of American tactics and aircraft characteristics. 9 months of intensive instruction emphasized combat techniques specifically designed to exploit F6F Hellcat weaknesses while maximizing zero performance advantages in areas where Japanese aircraft retained superiority. Captain Tamichi Hara, analyzing pilot training effectiveness, had documented systematic improvements. Our new pilots possess superior individual skills while understanding American tactics through detailed combat analysis. Enhanced training programs have produced airmen capable of maximum aircraft performance under combat conditions that American mass production training cannot match. The aircraft production supporting mobile fleet operations had achieved quality improvements through systematic manufacturing enhancement. Japanese factories delivered aircraft incorporating combat lessons while maintaining precision craftsmanship that mass production American methods couldn't replicate under wartime constraints requiring quantity over quality. The tactical innovations developed for mobile fleet operations included coordinated attack patterns designed to overcome American defensive advantages through simultaneous approaches that radar direction couldn't effectively coordinate. Japanese planners had identified systematic weaknesses in American fighter direction that concentrated attacks could exploit. The maintenance capabilities supporting Japanese carrier operations provided optimal aircraft readiness through systematic attention to mechanical reliability. Ground crews achieved peak aircraft performance while American forces operated under logistics constraints that Pacific distances imposed on complex maintenance requirements. The fuel allocation supporting mobile fleet operations assumed unlimited aviation gasoline for sustained combat operations, while American carriers would be constrained by supply limitations requiring careful resource management during extended operations far from logistical support bases. Lieutenant Commander Zenji Abe, analyzing American defensive patterns, had identified tactical opportunities that mobile fleet coordination could exploit. Enemy fighter formations rely on radar direction that cannot adapt quickly to coordinated attacks from multiple vectors. Our tactical flexibility enables penetration of defensive systems through concentrated strikes against weak points. The communication systems linking mobile fleet aircraft enabled coordinated attacks that American defensive systems couldn't effectively counter through individual fighter direction. Radio coordination allowed real-time tactical adjustment while maintaining formation discipline essential for concentrated attacks against enemy formations. The intelligence supporting Japanese operations included detailed analysis of American aircraft performance and pilot training that suggested systematic weaknesses, exploitable through superior individual excellence and tactical coordination. Japanese assessment indicated enemy expansion had sacrificed quality for quantity in ways that experienced pilots could exploit. The psychological preparation accompanying mobile fleet operations emphasized restoration of Japanese naval aviation supremacy through demonstration of superior pilot training and aircraft performance. Systematic confidence building had restored morale essential for aggressive tactics required against numerically superior enemies. By June 1944, Japanese mobile fleet represented systematic recovery that had restored carrier aviation to operational effectiveness through improved aircraft, enhanced training, and tactical innovations that promised decisive results against American forces dependent on material advantages rather than individual excellence and tactical superiority. What Japanese strategists couldn't anticipate was that American technological development and systematic pilot training had produced capabilities that would render individual excellence and tactical innovation obsolete through coordinated defense systems that eliminated traditional advantages Japanese aircraft and pilots had historically exploited. June 19, 1944, 10:30 hours, 180 miles west of Task Force 58. Lieutenant Alexander Vraciu banked his F6F Hellcat into attack position as radar operators vectored his division toward the first Japanese strike wave, 69 aircraft approaching in loose formation that represented Mobile Fleet's opening gambit for decisive battle. What followed would demonstrate technological superiority so overwhelming that Japanese pilot excellence became mathematically irrelevant. "Tally-ho! Judies and zeros at 12 o'clock level," Vraciu radioed to his wingman as American fighters initiated coordinated attacks that Japanese formations couldn't counter through individual maneuverability. The systematic slaughter began immediately as F6F Hellcats engaged enemy aircraft with technological advantages that rendered traditional dogfighting obsolete. The first kills came within minutes as American pilots exploited systematic advantages in speed, firepower, and diving performance that Japanese training couldn't overcome through superior technique. Hellcat pilots could dictate engagement terms, while Zero pilots found themselves trapped in unfavorable combat conditions regardless of individual skill levels. Lieutenant Commander David McCampbell, leading VF-15 from Carrier Essex, observed the technological transformation with professional satisfaction. "Our Hellcats outperform their Zeros in every category except turn radius. We can engage at will, break off when necessary, and attack from superior positions. Japanese pilot skill becomes irrelevant when we control engagement parameters." The systematic destruction that followed validated American aircraft design through combat results that exceeded every projection. F6F Hellcats achieved kill ratios approaching 10.1 during initial engagements while maintaining formation discipline that Japanese attacks couldn't disrupt through traditional tactics. The radar coordination supporting American operations enabled fighter direction that positioned Hellcats advantageously before Japanese formations could achieve optimal attack positions. Early warning provided tactical superiority that individual pilot excellence couldn't overcome when American aircraft controlled engagement timing and positioning. Ensign Wilbur Webb, flying his first combat mission, documented the systematic advantages. "Japanese pilots are skilled, but our aircraft are superior in every performance category that matters. We're faster, we dive better, and our guns hit harder. Plus, radar tells us exactly where they are before they see us." Ammunition effectiveness that Hellcats demonstrated included 650 caliber machine guns, firing 2,400 rounds total. Firepower that could destroy enemy aircraft with brief bursts, while Japanese weapons required sustained fire for equivalent damage. American pilots could engage multiple targets while conserving ammunition through superior hitting power. The altitude advantages that F6F operations provided included superior climbing performance that enabled Hellcats to achieve optimal attack positions before Japanese formations could respond effectively. American aircraft could maintain energy advantages while forcing enemy pilots into defensive maneuvers that eliminated tactical initiative. Lieutenant Junior Grade Alex Vraciu achieved legendary status during the first engagement by destroying 6 Japanese aircraft in 8 minutes, while firing only 360 rounds, precision that demonstrated systematic superiority of American aircraft and training over traditional Japanese advantages in individual pilot skill. The fuel capacity that supported Hellcat operations enabled extended combat time that Japanese aircraft couldn't match despite territorial advantages. F6F pilots could maintain aggressive tactics throughout engagement duration, while Zero pilots faced fuel limitations that forced premature disengagement regardless of tactical situation. The maintenance reliability supporting American operations included F6F mechanical systems that functioned effectively despite combat damage that would disable more complex aircraft. Hellcat design emphasized battlefield durability, while Japanese aircraft required perfect maintenance for optimal performance under combat conditions. Staff Sergeant James Wilson, analyzing combat damage reports, observed systematic differences. Hellcats absorbed punishment that would destroy Japanese aircraft while continuing combat operations. Our pilots return with battle damage that proves aircraft survivability, while enemy aircraft that take hits generally don't make it home. The communication systems linking American formations enabled coordinated attacks that maximized individual aircraft effectiveness through tactical cooperation. Radio coordination allowed multiple Hellcats to engage single targets, while Japanese formations operated with limited communication capability that prevented effective mutual support. The training differences supporting Hellcat operations included systematic instruction in aircraft performance optimization and tactical employment that Japanese programs couldn't match through individual excellence emphasis. American pilots understood aircraft capabilities while maintaining formation discipline essential for coordinated operations. By 1100 hours, the first Japanese attack wave had been systematically destroyed, with 42 aircraft shot down, while American losses totaled only 2 Hellcats. Results that validated technological superiority over traditional pilot training and aircraft maneuverability through systematic demonstration of overwhelming performance advantages. The transformation was beginning through American demonstration that industrial capacity and technological innovation could eliminate traditional aerial combat advantages when applied through coordinated systems that made individual excellence obsolete against systematic superiority in aircraft performance and tactical coordination. June 19, 1944. 1400 hours. The Great Marianas Turkey Shoot had reached full intensity as 373 Japanese aircraft launched desperate attacks against Task Force 58, only to meet systematic destruction that redefined naval aviation forever. Lieutenant Alexander Vraciu's morning success, 6 kills in 8 minutes, had become representative of American aerial superiority so overwhelming that Japanese pilot excellence became statistically meaningless. The mathematics were devastating and unprecedented. F6F Hellcats were achieving individual kill ratios that exceeded every projection from peacetime training. Commander David McCampbell personally destroyed 7 Japanese aircraft in single-day operations while maintaining ammunition conservation that demonstrated systematic superiority in aircraft performance and pilot preparation. Complete aerial supremacy, McCampbell radioed to Carrier Essex as another Japanese formation dissolved under coordinated Hellcat attacks. Enemy aircraft cannot penetrate our defensive systems. Individual Japanese pilot skill cannot overcome our technological and numerical advantages when applied through radar-directed coordination. The production statistics supporting American operations demonstrated industrial capacity that Japanese forces couldn't comprehend or counter. Task Force 58 operated 956 aircraft from 15 carriers while maintaining replacement rates that exceeded Japanese total aircraft production through systematic manufacturing that rendered attrition irrelevant. Lieutenant Junior Grade Alex Vraciu extended his legendary day by destroying additional Japanese aircraft using minimal ammunition expenditure that validated American training emphasis on precision gunnery over volume fire. Each engagement demonstrated systematic advantages in aircraft performance that traditional dogfighting skills couldn't overcome. The radar coordination enabling American success included fighter direction that positioned Hellcats optimally before Japanese formations could achieve attack parameters. Early warning provided tactical advantages that individual pilot excellence couldn't counter when American aircraft controlled engagement conditions completely. Ensign Roy Rushing, achieving ace status during single-day operations, documented the systematic destruction. Japanese formations approach in coordinated attacks, but our radar sees them coming, while Hellcats intercept before they reach optimal positions. Their tactical coordination becomes irrelevant when we control engagement timing. The ammunition effectiveness demonstrated by Hellcat operations included 50 caliber firepower that achieved consistent kills with brief bursts, while Japanese return fire proved ineffective against American aircraft armor and structural design. F6F pilots could engage multiple targets, while enemy pilots required sustained fire for damage. The fuel endurance supporting American operations enabled extended combat time that Japanese aircraft couldn't match despite shorter range requirements. Hellcat pilots maintained aggressive tactics throughout mission duration, while Zero pilots faced limitations that forced defensive operations regardless of tactical preferences. The maintenance reliability that characterized F6F operations included mechanical systems that continued functioning despite combat damage that disabled enemy aircraft. American pilots returned with battle damage, while Japanese aircraft suffering equivalent hits generally failed to complete missions. Captain Joseph Clifton, commanding air operations aboard carrier Yorktown, observed the systematic transformation. Japanese air power is being eliminated through technological superiority that renders traditional advantages obsolete. Their pilot training cannot overcome our aircraft performance when combined with radar coordination and numerical superiority. The communication systems supporting American formations enabled coordinated attacks that multiplied individual aircraft effectiveness through tactical cooperation, impossible for Japanese forces operating with limited radio capability. Multiple Hellcats could concentrate against single targets while maintaining defensive coordination. The training differences supporting Hellcat effectiveness included systematic instruction that emphasized aircraft performance optimization over individual flying excellence. American pilots understood F6F capabilities while maintaining formation discipline that Japanese individual-focused training couldn't match under combat pressure. The industrial comparison revealed fundamental American advantages in electronics manufacturing that supported radar systems, radio communication, and aircraft instrumentation impossible for Japanese forces to replicate under wartime production constraints, requiring resource allocation to basic aircraft manufacturing. Lieutenant Commander Paul Bui, leading VF-16 operations, documented the kill ratio achievements. We're destroying Japanese aircraft at rates exceeding 15.1, while maintaining operational tempo that enemy formations cannot sustain. Their attack waves dissolve under systematic interception that prevents effective bombing approaches. The altitude control that Hellcat operations maintained included superior climbing performance that enabled American fighters to achieve optimal attack positions before Japanese formations could respond. F6F pilots could maintain energy advantages while forcing enemy aircraft into defensive maneuvers. The weather conditions accompanying Turkey Shoot operations provided optimal visibility for radar-directed interception while maintaining flight, conditions that favored American aircraft performance characteristics. Clear skies enabled systematic destruction, while Japanese formations faced coordinated attacks without concealment options. By 1600 hours, systematic destruction had eliminated 346 Japanese aircraft, while American losses totaled only 29 Hellcats, kill ratios that proved technological superiority could render traditional aerial combat obsolete when applied through coordinated systems that made individual pilot excellence irrelevant against overwhelming performance advantages. The Turkey Shoot was complete and irreversible, powered by American industrial capacity that produced aircraft faster than Japanese forces could train replacement pilots while maintaining technological superiority that eliminated traditional combat advantages through systematic application of superior engineering. June 20th, 1944. Vice Admiral Jisaburo Ozawa surveyed the catastrophic aftermath of the Great Marianas Turkey Shoot from the bridge of Carrier Zuikaku, the sole surviving veteran of Pearl Harbor, as rescue operations attempted to locate survivors from the 346 aircraft that American F6F Hellcats had systematically destroyed in the greatest aerial massacre in naval history. Around him, the mobile fleet's operational capability had been eliminated forever. Japanese naval aviation is dead, Ozawa admitted in his final operational report that would document the end of Imperial Navy air power. American technological superiority eliminated our aircraft and pilots through systematic destruction that pilot training and individual excellence could not counter. The Hellcat proved invincible against traditional Japanese advantages. The final statistics told a story of technological domination that mathematics made undeniable. American forces had achieved a 15.1 kill ratio while eliminating Japanese carrier aviation as effective fighting force. The 346 aircraft destroyed represented irreplaceable pilot experience and aircraft that Japanese industry couldn't replace under wartime production constraints. The human cost was documented with devastating precision. 445 experienced Japanese pilots killed, including irreplaceable veteran aircrews whose training and combat experience represented decades of institutional knowledge that no training program could quickly restore. American losses totaled 29 aircraft and 76 aircrew, disparity that validated technological superiority. Admiral Chester Nimitz, analyzing Pacific Fleet operations, summarized the strategic transformation. Japanese naval aviation has been eliminated as effective force through systematic demonstration of American aircraft and pilot superiority. The Hellcat achieved results that render enemy carrier operations impossible while establishing permanent American air superiority. The technical comparison revealed fundamental differences between American mass production and Japanese precision manufacturing that had proven decisive under combat conditions. F6F Hellcat performance exceeded zero capabilities across every parameter, while American industrial capacity produced replacement aircraft faster than enemies could train pilots. But the most devastating evidence was systematic. American abundance had enabled pilot training programs that produced competent aircrews in quantities that Japanese, individual-focused instruction couldn't match when sustained operations required replacement capacity, exceeding individual excellence. Lieutenant Alexander Vraciu, achieving 19 total victories, including his legendary 6-kill day, represented American pilot development that emphasized systematic training over individual excellence. The Hellcat made average pilots into aces, while Japanese training produced excellent individual pilots who couldn't be replaced when killed. Our system was sustainable. Theirs wasn't. The strategic implications extended beyond individual battles to encompass complete American control of Pacific skies that would enable B-29 Superfortress operations against Japanese homeland while eliminating enemy ability to conduct carrier-based counterattacks against advancing Allied forces. The production achievement demonstrated American technological mobilization that Japanese industry couldn't comprehend or replicate. Converting civilian automotive manufacturing to F6F production had created capacity that produced Hellcats faster than Japanese factories could manufacture basic airframes while maintaining quality that combat testing validated. The psychological impact on Japanese strategic planning included immediate recognition that carrier aviation could no longer provide effective defense against American amphibious operations. The Turkey Shoot had eliminated offensive capability while proving that defensive operations were mathematically impossible against American technological superiority. Commander David McCampbell, achieving 34 total victories, including 7 during the Turkey Shoot, provided definitive assessment of technological transformation. The Hellcat eliminated Japanese aircraft advantages through superior performance in every category that mattered. Their pilots were good, but our aircraft were better. Technology defeated tradition decisively. The Cold War implications became apparent as Hellcat technology influenced jet fighter development and carrier aviation tactics that would define post-war naval operations. American technological superiority established during Turkey Shoot operations provided foundation for strategic advantages that would last decades. The industrial lessons learned during F6F production influenced post-war American aviation development while establishing manufacturing principles that enabled rapid military expansion when strategic requirements demanded technological superiority over potential enemies, relying on traditional methods. The final irony emerged through Japanese post-war aviation development that adopted American production techniques for civilian aircraft manufacturing. Engineers who had designed Zero fighters became leaders in commercial aviation through learning mass production methods that enabled economic prosperity. At the 1994 commemoration of the Turkey Shoot's 50th anniversary, surviving American pilots and Japanese veterans met for unprecedented historical reconciliation. Admiral Ozawa's son, representing his deceased father, addressed 400 American veterans. "Your Hellcats eliminated Japanese naval aviation through technological superiority that rendered traditional advantages obsolete." The Turkey Shoot demonstrated that industrial capacity defeats individual excellence when applied through systematic coordination that our training philosophy couldn't counter. The auditorium erupted in sustained applause as former enemies acknowledged that technological innovation had accomplished what traditional tactics could never achieve. Systematic victory through aircraft that made pilot excellence irrelevant against overwhelming performance advantages. The death was complete and irreversible. Japanese naval aviation had been systematically eliminated by American F6F Hellcats that demonstrated industrial democracy's ability to produce technological solutions that overcame traditional military advantages through engineering excellence applied at scales that precision manufacturing couldn't match. In the end, the battle wasn't won by superior pilots. It was won by superior aircraft, produced in overwhelming numbers by industrial systems that could design, manufacture, and deploy fighters faster than enemies could train replacement aircrews. The Hellcat had indeed become the ultimate Zero killer, and in that triumph lay the transformation of Pacific warfare itself.